Now this is a tomahawk. The tomahawk became a symbol of war. The symbol of peace, the pipe. You've all heard of the peace pipe, right? Guess what? Indians never had a peace pipe. Didn't exist. They had ceremonial pipes, and yes, they were smoked for peace, but the same pipes were smoked for war. They were also smoked for ceremonies. Every ceremony that I have ever attended, we have smoked the pipe. The pipe became a symbol of peace. The tomahawk, the symbol of war. This is the symbol of war. But this is a symbol of peace. This is a pipe. The smoking mixture goes here. The handle is a stem. This can be smoked. The Indians call these pipe hawks. Combination, ceremonial pipe tomahawk. Now when the whites and the Indians would get together and speak of peace, the Indians would fill the bowl with a mixture called kinnikinnick. Kinnikinnick is wild tobacco, red willow bark, prairie sage, and dry cedar leaves. It does not taste good. And it doesn't put you in the ozone either. It's not something that's going to make you hallucinate, much to many young people's dismay. But they would light this pipe and they'd pass it around for everyone to smoke, because they believed that once you smoked the pipe, you had to be honest. You could not tell a lie. Problem is, nobody told a white man that. Now, a lot of people say that I'm anti-white man. I can't be anti-white, I am white. But I'm also an adopted Indian, and the truth is, 99.9% of every treaty was broken by the whites, not the American Indians. But if they agreed to peace, they would take this pipe hawk and they would stick it in the ground. They would bury the symbol of war and leave only the symbol of peace to show. One day some old white man walked by and he said, "Look yonder, I reckon them folks must have buried the hatchet." This is where that saying came from, because a white man called these hatchets. To the Indians, they were pipe hawks. Now you see this emblem? This is called the Weeping Heart. There was a famous Indian chief. His name was Mapialuda. Mapialuda once said, "It makes my heart weep to see my people die." So he cut this weeping heart in his pipe hawk. You might have heard of him. To the white man, he was known as Chief Red Cloud of the Ogallala Sioux. This is a replica of Chief Red Cloud's pipe hawk. The Ogallala Sioux traded with the French Canadians. This pipe hawk was made in France. This pipe hawk was used by the Cherokee. The Cherokee were Eastern Woodlands Indians. They traded with the English. This pipe hawk was made in England. Similar, but you can tell the difference. Now the Indians in this part of the country, the Comanche, Kiowa, Southern Cheyenne, traded with the Spaniards. This pipe hawk was made in Spain. This is a replica of Quanah Parker's pipe hawk. Quanah was half white. He was also the last war chief of the Comanche Indians. This is the most sacred item of the American Indians, the pipe. Only a few people are allowed to carry pipes like this, and they're called pipe carriers. These are smoked with every ceremony. Why? It's very simple. First of all, the Indians don't smoke like most people. When they smoke, they do so in prayer. And let me tell you why. The Indians believe that when an infant is born, whether that infant is human or animal, the Great Spirit comes down and breathes the first breath of life into that infant. From that time on, what enters the mouth is sacred. What comes from the mouth is sacred. Now the pipe comes from the earth. The bowl of the pipe is made from a stone. It's called pipe stone by the Indians. The white man calls it catlinite. Comes from a place called Pipestone, Minnesota. The story is that there was only one tribe, a peaceful tribe, very, very large tribe. They lived where this quarry is. They had no enemies. They lived very well for hundreds of years. And then one day an unknown people, an unknown race of people, a very fierce people, attacked the village, killed so many men, women, and children, the blood soaked into the ground and turned the stone red. This is the natural color of the stone. The stem is made from wood. Wood comes from the tree. The tree is a gift from Mother Earth. This stem is decorated with blue trade cloth. Blue is the color of the sky, the home of the Great Spirit. The fur is red fox. The fox was known for its wisdom. And red is the color of the good red road, the path of spirituality that we should all walk. Everything about this pipe has a purpose. When I left the reservation, the elders told me that I should go and walk the path laid before me. I had no idea what that path was. They told me, you will know. You will know. I asked, can you tell me? They said, no. But you will know the path. Now, there are some things that the Indians did not want me to talk about. One of them was American Indian spirituality, pipe ceremonies. They did not want me to talk about council meetings. I couldn't understand, and I asked why. And the elders said, because that's better left to the FBI, full-blooded Indians. So I said, okay, if you don't want me to talk about that, good. I would go to a school and do the program that I normally do, and always allow a little time for questions and answers, and the kids would always ask about the pipe. One little girl raised her hand and said, can you tell me how Indians pray? My answer was, the Indians asked me not to speak of these things. This began to become very frustrating for me. So I went home one day and I sat down with a legal pad and I started to write. And after I was through, I had about 3.5 pages of verse. It's kind of unusual. I do not claim to be a poet, but it was a poem. I put it in an envelope and I mailed it to the reservation. Well, you know, out of sight, out of mind, I forgot about it. About 6 weeks went by and the telephone rang. And I picked up the phone and I said, hello. Voice on the other end said, this is good, use it, and hung up. I thought that sounded kind of like Gray Mountain. Picked up the phone, I called the reservation. Now he's in Canada. So he answers the phone, oi! I said, are you talking about the poem I sent you? He said, what else would I be talking about? It's good, use it. And he hung up. I picked up the phone, I called him back. Oi! I said, how come it took you 6 weeks to get back in touch with me? He said, the council had to read it. It had to be approved by the elders. It's good, use it. And he hung up. He'd said all he was going to say. So, to give you a little insight about the pipe ceremonies, council meetings, I'd like to do this poem for you. It's called The Buffalo Is Gone. The lodge was made of buffalo skin, brain tanned and sewn by hand. It was large enough for 50 chiefs from tribes across the land. The small fire in the center was fed with buffalo chips that day, next to the earth mound altar where the sacred pipe would lay. The medicine lodge was a sacred place filled with mysteries of the past, reserved for chiefs and medicine men. The council convened at last. Silence fell over the village as the teepee flaps were closed, and people gathered close to the lodge to hear what was said, I'm told. Inside, the chief sat silent as he filled his sacred pipe. His hand shook as he raised the coal to bring the pipe to life. He offered the pipe to the one above as he held it over his head. The silent prayer sent from his heart was felt, though nothing was said. He offered the pipe to Mother Earth in thanks for all she had given. He prayed for the souls of the ancient ones, and then for the souls of the living. He offered the pipe to the four winds, the south, west, north, and east. He prayed for the animal people, the winged ones, and the beasts. The pipe began to make the rounds, so every man could pray and send his words to Great Spirit from the medicine lodge that day. When the ceremony had ended and all their hearts were pure, the old chief stood before them. His stance was proud and sure. My brothers, welcome to this lodge. Hear well the words I say. The time has come for us to choose the lives we'll live this day. My heart is filled with sadness, for our people have been wronged. I fear our days of freedom, like the buffalo, is gone. For years we've fought those people who have come to take our lands, but our fighting days are over. We must bow to the stronger hand. The old men tell us change must come. We must accept this pain. Remember well our history. Don't let it be in vain. I cannot tell you what to do. Each man must choose his will. My freedom may be taken, but my soul will not be stilled. I'll lead those who will follow to this reservation land. We may not live in honor growing crops in useless sand, but we'll teach our children to be proud, and we'll live each day of strife and honor to the one above who breathes the breath of life. And so I bid you fond farewell. May your lives be good and long. My life is like the buffalo, and the buffalo is gone. With that, the old chief turned away. His heart began to ache. As he left the medicine lodge that day, a tear ran down his face. The others sat in silence as they watched the old chief go. And what the future held for them, not one of them could know. The rest, you know, is history of the battles won and lost through the springtime's early flowers, the winter's cold with frost. The lifestyle of the Indian was fierce and proud and strong, a lifestyle like the buffalo, but the buffalo was gone. This poem speaks of the breath of life. What enters the mouth is sacred. You have honored us today by coming to share this food that we have prepared. For this, I thank you. What leaves the mouth, what comes from the mouth, is sacred. You have honored me today by listening to the words that I have to say. For this I thank you. The American Indians have a saying. It is Matakawee Owasin. I don't expect anyone to remember that. It took me several years to remember. Matakawee Owasin. It means that we are all related. You know, when an Indian prays, when he ends his prayer, he does not say, Amen. He says, all my relations. Why? Because an Indian does not pray for himself. He prays for the people. So he ends his prayer, all my relations. Matakawee Owasin, we are all related. If the people of this earth could somehow believe that, we could find no excuse to kill each other. We are all related. You are my brothers and sisters. You are my aunts and uncles. You are my grandfathers and my grandmothers. Do not be insulted. The greatest honor you can give a man is to call him grandfather. Wisdom comes with age. The greatest honor you can give a woman, call her grandmother. Many men older than I refer to me as grandfather. Makes me feel a little weird, but there are younger men that I call grandfather because I respect them. We are all related. I know you have other places to go and other things to do, and I do not want to keep you because I have a tendency not to know when to shut up. I will close this program, and I'd like to close it with a prayer for you. My prayer is, may you always walk in peace with the sun to your face and the wind to your back. May you allow the Great Spirit to guide your steps along the path He would have you walk. All my relations. You have indeed honored us. One thing I would like for you to remember, Matakawee Owasin, we are all related. We are all family. You are always welcome home. I don't know where you're from. I don't know where you're going. Makes no difference. You're always welcome home. And home is wherever you happen to be. If you look at every person you meet as a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a grandmother, a grandfather. I hope that you have enjoyed the food. I hope that you have enjoyed this little program. And I hope that when you leave here, you will take with you memories that will last you for quite some time. I used to say forever, but we don't know how long forever is. I have a problem remembering what I ate yesterday. So enjoy, please, be safe, and come back to see us very, very soon. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very, very much.